This is a good title. Get Out of Your Own Way, Guide to Life. 10 steps to shift gears, dream big, do it now. Oh, I love that positiveness. We need that today, right? Justin Loeber is on the phone. Same Justin Loeber, right?
Yes.
He is one of our publicists, really.
Yeah.
And he was booked by Donna Gould, another publicist. It's Publicist Morning. We actually got to meet Donna in New York a couple weeks ago. It was awesome. Justin is, in addition to being a publicist, a musician, an accomplished recording artist. He had a couple of songs you might know: Shivers Up My Spine, Vibrations of the Night, Those Words, Love Me or Leave Me. And he's written a book. It's called Get Out of Your Own Way, the same book I just told you about. I got to put the cover on the podcast right now so you see it. But let's say hello first to Justin Loeber. Good morning, Justin. How you doing?
Hello, Larry and Robin. How are you?
You just wanted to do that hello, Larry thing, didn't you?
You know what? I did. And, we share something in common because my first name is Larry in the book. I got out of my own way in 4th grade after I was bullied, and the kids called me Fat Larry, who wanted to marry Miss Van Carey, the 4th grade teacher. I said, I got to use my middle name. And I've gone by Justin practically ever since.
Is that right? Oh my gosh! Well, how did Miss McCarry look? By the way, I mean that would be important.
Yeah, Miss Van Carey was like a shrinked prune. She was beyond her moment, but she was such a nice lady. I didn't want to divorce her, but I certainly did not want to marry her. That would have been sexual harassment. Just another story in America.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I am calling from sunny New York City, where the crazies live.
Okay, well, gosh. Well, next time we're up there, we got to visit with you. We visited with Donna, and we also visited with another publicist. You guys should know each other. Alicia, who's also a fashion designer, by the way.
Oh, wow. It sounds like she could use some designing some coats today. It's so cold up here. You are always welcome. Your audience in Daytona and Ocala, they are always welcome to come up to Mouth Digital and Public Relations. We're near the South Seaport, and we can give you a tour and show you the sites.
Gosh, I know we're going to talk about the book, but I hope we can squeeze in a little bit of biographical stuff on yourself. I find it fascinating that you were an accomplished recording artist, then became a publicist, and now you're an author.
Yes. Well, you know what? Life is a journey, and what I share in this book, and I hope for your audience, I want everyone in America and beyond to make at least one dream come true. I'm really one of those types that can't sit still unless I can at least try something and then move on, because I really didn't want and don't want to be 80 years old in a rocking chair wondering what if, or living a life of regrets. So I was watching in the 1980s the Stray Cats on MTV. They said they couldn't get arrested in America. They came over to England and they became these huge pop stars. And I looked at the TV and I said, well, if they could do it, let me give it a shot. And I did one demo tape, Shivers Up My Spine, flew over there, and within 5 months I was discovered by this rock star, Gary Newman.
Really? Really?
Man in my car.
Yeah. Oh, I love that song. Yeah. Yeah.
So I opened for this guy all over the United Kingdom on his big Berserker rock tour, and my music started getting played all over the radio. People were starting to notice me, but as fast as that star was climbing, it crashed and burned, and after 4 other recording contracts, I was at 33, a college dropout, and back on my parents' couch wondering, what the H am I going to do now?
Yeah.
So what I decided to do, because, unfortunately in America, most people come from the world of no, because it's easier to just sit back rather than take a risk.
Yes.
But I decided I had absolutely nothing to lose, and a friend of mine had a job at this company called Random House. I didn't know who Random was and where their house was. I didn't really know that they were a book publisher. And they said, you know what, we need a temp to answer phones. So I said, sure, I'll do that. What else do I have going on? And I stepped into the world of publishing as a college dropout, as a washed-up recording artist. And within 14 years, I headed up the PR and marketing of a wing of HarperCollins.
Is that right?
And,
wow, that's an awesome story.
Well, you know what? It's a story of not luck. It's a story of being strategic and working my butt off. In my book, Get Out of Your Own Way Guide to Life, one of the steps is work on your work ethic. And when you feel that you are a little bit less than, because let's face it, in publishing, everybody's either from an Ivy League school or they've got a golden spoon in their mouth. It's a very cushy industry.
Let me tap into that one thing you just said about. Oh my gosh! No, I can't remember what you said.
An Ivy League school or a golden spoon in their mouth.
No, I can't remember what you said.
You know what? There's not a tip for having a senior moment, but that'll.
Okay, but I can't remember exactly what you said.
He was a washed-up college graduate at age 33.
You're not going to get there.
Okay, I'm trying. Justin.
But here's what I wanted to say. You said something to the effect of, just the title, get out of your own way, and oh gosh,
didn't quite fit in.
No, gosh, oh my gosh, I can't believe I dropped it out of my brain. But anyway, when we have an idea of something we want to do.
Yes.
I know what it was. It was work ethic. You said about the work ethic. Okay, here's what I want to say about the work ethic. A lot of people have a really, really, really good work ethic. They will show up at the job. They will make sure they yes sir, no sir. They treat the boss with respect. They treat the job with respect. But the job that they want to do, in other words, write the book or record the record or whatever they're doing, their work ethic to that, because they are their own boss, so they don't respect themselves as a boss. And just comment on that if you could.
Yeah, well, you know what? In my book, I talk about understanding the definition of normal in every situation. And again, there's no doubt that when you step into a big office, there are definite rules. Even a small office. I mean, honestly, the reason why I wrote this book is a 30-something sashayed into my office for an account executive position in cutoff jeans, flip-flops, and earbuds still playing Beyonce. And trust me, my company is not in Daytona, and it wasn't spring break. Sashaying in here, and he was a hot mess. And rather than kick him out, I looked at his resume. The cover letter said, "Please see attached." There was nothing else on this cover letter. And I looked at this, and I thought, this is the voice that I need to share with people, because it's not just the millennials. The millennials do not know how to write or address an envelope. They are constantly looking at their smartphone, and it's not their fault. The boomers are their parents, and for some odd reason, the boomers gave them a free pass of not understanding how to survive in the real world. So when you want to do something in your life, you've got to A, rewrite your own definition of normal, but B, shift gears, which is part of the subtitle of this book, and understand that you've got to be able to play nice in the sandbox.
Yeah.
So what I tell people out there, Larry and Robin, is you've got to see a vision of what you want to do. And we're in a world where reality TV, Tuesday you wait on tables, Friday you own a record label. There's no work ethic in between, because the ratings would go down practically.
Yeah,
but in the real world, the way that it works is you've got to show up on time, be 2 steps ahead of everyone else. Do not step on other people's toes to get ahead, and do your best job. No one will ever fault you for that. But when you come into a job interview, use the internet wisely. It's there for you to do your research. What people don't understand out there interviewing is that the person on the other side of the desk is desperate for you as the candidate to be the next employee. They don't want to sit there for 10 hours and see one person after another. And the way to the way to clinch the job, Larry and Robin, is to say, do your research, have 3 or 4 talking points that you've gotten off of the website, the company's website, so that you can show that you've done your job and you're interested. And at the end of that interview, stand up, make sure your hands are not clammy, shake the person's hand, look in their face and say, I really would like to work at your company, and I hope to hear from you soon. People forget that.
I hope that the people you're trying to reach will read this book. My hunch is that there's going to be a lot of people who will look at the title and say, "Oh, I don't need that. I know how to do this." But the smart ones will say, "You know what? Maybe I am in my own way." And I'm guessing those smart ones are the ones who came into your office with the cutoff jeans and didn't get the job.
Well, you know what? They did not get the job, but they helped me to write this book. And the millennials were as worse as the boomers were as worse as the millennials, because the boomers are from the 1980s, the life and the world of the liquid lunch. Does anybody remember that in Daytona? The liquid lunch in New York was have a couple of martinis and come back a little bombed and finish up the job and leave at 6. And they walk into small shop like me after they lost their cushy corporate jobs, and they start negotiating like I'm the Paris peace talks here. You've got to be real with the circumstances, and this book is not just a business book, it's a boot camp for living in the real world. You've got to do that.
And that hit home to you personally when your mom died.
Oh, thank you for saying that. You know, there's the part of the subtitle is "Do It Now," and I really looked at that. It could sound stereotypical. All of this stuff could sound stereotypical, but it's roll up your sleeve stuff. And I had this really intense job at Simon & Schuster at one point where I was 10 minutes from meeting Gene Simmons from KISS, who was coming in and talking about his book and hoping to get a book deal. And my mom called me out of the blue. She never did in the afternoon, and she was giving me life lessons, and I was so caught up in my own title at my job that I cut her off on the phone. I said, "I'll call you later," and 3 hours later my stepdad called and said she passed away.
Oh my God!
She had no medical reason to go at that time. So my point is,
wow.
Thank you. With your audience is the time ticks, whether you're a millennial or a boomer. We're really here for 7 to 10 decades, if we are lucky to get that far. And the difference between a millennial and a boomer is just a couple of decades, and we're all on the conveyor belt. Time ticks,
Absolutely.
And time is no one's friend.
Yeah. Wow. Do you think she was giving you those life lessons without realizing she was going to be leaving soon? I think she was. That's kind of almost supernatural in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think that people know when it's time to go. I mean, she said she didn't really feel well, but she's certainly not. She wasn't a soothsayer or a medium or anything. But the bottom line is live in the now. And I know people go, "Oh my God, next thing he's going to talk about is doing yoga." But you really do have to live in the now, because we're just, we stop. Our country is based on a tweet. If we've got some head of our country tweeting and not spell checking and shaming people, we're like bumper cars.
Yeah.
We're bumping into each other, and I would like everybody in Daytona and Ocala to stop. Put down the cell phone, look up and out, because your next possibility in work, in love, in life is right in front of you, everybody.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a hard sell. People aren't going to put their phones down. I think, though, but the message is really important. I hope they do put their phones down when they're having lunch or where they're, when they're with something, doing something important with somebody else.
Well, did you ever see, Larry and Robin? I'm sure there are those big chain, Olive Gardens and type of restaurants where there's 20 people in a group and everybody's looking down at the smartphone. Can you imagine schlepping your butt from the East Coast, flying to the West Coast, 3,000 miles to see your family, and no one's talking to you at dinner?
Oh, my God.
That is so rude.
Yeah, that is
exactly.
I'm rude.
Yeah, that is not awesome, but awful. Awful is the word.
Awful is the word. It's just plain rude, Ocala and Daytona. We have been drinking Kool-Aid by the wrong Kool-Aid. The taste is so horrible. So I am not saying to throw out the cell phone, because electronics are amazing. If it wasn't for electronics, I wouldn't be on the phone with you here.
Right.
Like when your parents are coming or
Right.
Granny is coming, give her 10 minutes before you play Candy Crush.
There you go. That's I love this part of the book. You talk about arrogance and versus self-confidence, and one of the things that came to mind when I looked at that was here when Robin in this radio show we have people who want to be on the show all the time, and usually. Thank God, it's through publicists. Because the publicists can temper it a lot. I mean, you're very good at selling us the idea of having a guest, and I know you know this because this is what you do. But we have people who walk through the door, and they say, hey, I made an album. Can you talk to me on the radio? And then you go, okay, well, can we have the album so we can listen to it? You don't have to download it and bring it with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to download it. Okay.
Like the flopper with the cut-off jeans didn't have their resume. I had to print it out for them, too. The bottom line is that there are rules and regulations in every job. It's not because you didn't want to interview the guy. It's because he didn't prepare for that moment when he had in front of you. I tell people when you're going in and doing something, pretend as if you're being interviewed by Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show. If you were going on Jimmy Fallon, that guy would have definitely brought his album. He wouldn't have just slogged off the opportunity. So just prepare. Preparation, it's like you bake a cake and you forget to
You
put
would
the
hope
flour
so.
in there.
You would hope so. I have seen guests on the late night shows though that obviously were not prepared.
Well, sometimes that makes for better TV. But I can promise you, if you've never been on TV and this was your debut, it sounds like this guy wanted to be heard.
Yeah.
You can't just pretend you're Isabella Rossellini sitting there puffing on a cigarette and talking about your mom. You just got to go in there and you got to grab the opportunity, America, and you've got to make it happen. There's way too many of us, and there's way too many mediocre of us out there.
There you
Pick
go.
it up a little bit. Pick it up, guys.
Absolutely.
love you.
You hit on something that my father used to always say, whatever you do, don't be mediocre. Don't that's not good enough. Don't be mediocre.
Now we are the country of, because we look at the Kardashians, God bless them, they're nice people, I'm sure, but the biggest moment in their show is that they've taken a picture of their brunch food and they are posting it. We don't need to see your scrambled eggs, America. We need to see that you are going from a housekeeper to a registered nurse or a bus driver to a classical guitarist. We want you to really go deep inside, find the heart that makes you tick, and go for it, and get rid of the white noise. If Granny is telling you you shouldn't be a guitar player, tell Granny you'll get someone to change her bedpan later. You've got to take the lessons first before you can be a star, and that is what America forgets.
Justin, there's something about you that tells me that if we ever are in New York, I'm going to love the lunch we have with you because there's another thing you're not saying, and that is to break off your relationship with losers. As sad as that sounds, and of course you can't do it if it's your family, but you know what I
yes,
mean.
You can. Yes, you can, Larry and Robin.
Not 100%, not 100%, but you know what I mean. If you go to Thanksgiving or Christmas or something where your family's gathering together, and you got somebody who's a sad sack, and the whole world is the reason why he hasn't been successful, you don't want to be around those people a whole lot.
Well, you certainly don't want to be around those people, but if they're your family members, figure out what's in it for you. What we all forget is we're knowingly going into a place we don't want to. But again, go back to rewriting your definition of normal. If you have deadbeat family members, you don't have to stay in their home. If you're an adult, get a room.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
just make it happen for yourself.
Yeah.
You're not.
Oh, I love
prisoner.
that. Yeah.
We are not followers. We live in the land of the free and home of the brave, and everybody's so scared of our loser brothers that we're going to ruffle their feathers. Stop it, America.
Never.
This is crazy.
Yeah, make sure you're the driver too, or at least you're using public transportation. If you're not the driver and you don't have public transportation, you are their captive.
Absolutely, and I really would love everybody to check out this book, Get Out of Your Own Way, Guide to Life. There's 10 steps to shift gears, dream big, do it now on my website, getoutofyourownwaybook.com. You can see wherever you want to buy it. You can connect with me. We'll have a hell of a time.
I have a copy of the book. I'd like to give it away. Call me if you want the copy that was sent to me. I have the cover of the book on the podcast we're doing, and I found it on Amazon. Looks like you're getting really good reviews on Amazon, so that's good.
Thank you, yes.
And let me just click a button here and give one of these listeners the book. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
This is Sue. What a great interview.
Thank you, Sue. You've got the book. It'll be waiting for you here, okay?
Oh, okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you to that lovely person.
There you go.
I just hope she's hands-free and not texting while she's driving. If that's in the book, don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Gosh, you're a lot of fun.
Listen, I just want to say in closing, whether you buy the book or not, my mission really is to make everybody understand you got to make at least one dream come true in your lifetime. This isn't about being
Absolutely.
a ranter and a dreamer. Yeah. It's about really looking at yourself and saying, I don't have to just be like everybody else. You don't have to. We're in the world where they want to sell you all this stuff, but you don't have to put your credit card out. You keep it in, you keep your worth inside you, and you find your own perfection in what you think are your imperfections. You are all extraordinary, and you have the opportunity to show people that you can do it.
Well said. Justin Loeber, what an honor to have you on our show. Thank you for being on the show with us today.
Thank you so much, Larry and Robin. Good luck to everybody in Florida.
All right, we will be right back.
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster. Alabama's getting its first Democrat in the Senate in 20 years, with Doug Jones beating the Republican